Welcome back, guys. This is Henry1502 Inc. I'm back, and today we're going over the answer to coding challenge question 1. Now, it's been almost 3 weeks since I posted it. It's still within the 2-week time frame, but I want to basically let you guys all know that this is very basic and simple, but it can be used for a wide range of applications, such as a slider, so like a moving background, canvas style, I guess, and it can also be used for, let's say, a drag and drop application that you can also use in jQuery or CSS. But if you want to use it in, like, let's say, Java or C++, you're going to need to know how to manipulate the X and Y coordinates and make them move in relation to each other, or you're going to probably need to know how to loop like X and Y pretty fast inside of a loop and stay consistent in frame rate. But guess who got the new Samsung Galaxy Note 3? This guy. This guy did. And I also picked up the Logitech BCC50 business conference calling camera. So it's all the way over there because it cuts off whenever I use it with this application that I'm using, Camtasia. And without further ado, let me put on my glasses because I've been having some eye problems. Let's dive into the code. But before I start, I'm going to say I am working in coding.com's environment. It's a software engineering website. Check it out. And I'm starting off with JavaScript because JavaScript was really easier for me to grasp. I was working in Java when this idea just popped into my head. Let's make a coding challenge, and JavaScript was less daunting, I guess. And then we're going to transition into Python, and yeah, really that's pretty much it. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like when you run it. It's very simple, and it's a very simple loop. You should be able to grasp it. So what we're going to start off by doing is we're going to start off by creating two variables, X and Y. X will not have a value assigned to it so far, but it will later on. Think of it as in math. X is the unknown variable, and Y, we usually have a value for that. So Y, I'm just going to give it a value of 18, and then we're going to create a for loop. If you don't know what a for loop is, I'm going to say go ahead and check out my videos plastered everywhere, but if you guys haven't gotten a chance to do that, make sure you do. So what we're going to do, we're going to actually assign X a value right now. We're assigning X a value of 0, and we're basically saying if X is less than Y, less than or equal to Y. Now, how do you do that? Basically, how you do that is the less than symbol and the equal sign symbol. Less than, or if X is less than or equal to Y, we're going to increment by 1. So 2 plus signs. Increment by 1 basically means we will add 1 to the value of X each time. So what are we going to do now? So basically what we want to do now is we want to print out on the screen what the value of X starting off will be, and what the value of Y starting off will be. So if you're doing this right, it should be, I think, 0 and 18, something like that, along the lines of that. So we're going to use console.log, and the reason why we're using console.log is because we are actually working inside of a console. Coding.com actually uses a console. If you wanted to use document.write, it's more geared towards like the web side of things. So yeah, no better way for me to explain it. Well, there probably is, but you know what I'm trying to say. So what I want to do is make sure you're creating a string. This is X plus X. And make sure that you console.log as well Y. But as a way to help to increase readability, I'm just going to go in and change this up a little bit. And then what we're basically going to do is Y minus 2 y equals y minus 2. So what this basically means is every time we get the value y, we're just going to subtract 2 from it. So every time y appears on the screen, it will decrease in value by 2 each time. So when I run it in Coding.com's wonderful terminal, which takes some time to get used to, but eventually you will get used to it. It's loading right now. It's pretty fast, it's intuitive, and everyone really should know how to use this, or should use this. Alright, so when we get a Coding's terminal, the cloud development environment as what it's called. So a good way for us to find out which folder, which file that we are working with and where it is just by looking at our the left side of the screen. So when you create an account with Coding.com or you're using one, you have 4 basic folders that are always present. Your applications folder, backup, documents, and web. So under web, I go to JavaScript, coding challenges, CC1, which basically means coding challenges 1. So you can find my Middlemen JavaScript file and my Python file, and this failed attempt here didn't really go so well. But remember, these are mostly my own custom folders. You can create your own folders. Don't worry about that. So this is where my JavaScript one is. So you can see it's under web, JavaScript coding challenges, CC1, and the file name is 1 middleman exercise. Middleman.javascript. So one way that, the thing that I found out while using Coding's terminal is if you really want to use like a program, like let's say Python, you would have to write Python and the file name .py, which is the extension. So it got me thinking, how do I run JavaScript? Well, you can't do JavaScript and then space the file name. It doesn't work like that. So one way that I found out how to do is basically by using Node. Node works perfectly because it pretty much is JavaScript. And it just works. And so let's just try it out, and it should work. Node, crap, no. So one way we're going to find the file first, so we're going to use the same methodology as we would using a normal command prompt. So cd, it's in web, it's in JavaScript, and the folder inside of JavaScript, coding challenges, CC1, press enter. So in order to run our JavaScript folder file, we just use Node and the file name, which is middleman.js. Press enter, and voila, this pops up on the screen. So when x is 0, y is 18. When x is 1, y is 16. And you see all the way down here, they are both equal to each other. When x is 6, y is 6. Because y is incrementing down and x is incrementing up, they meet in the middle, 6. But what happens if this loop kept going? If x is 7, y is 4. If x is 8, y is 2. But if x is 9, y is 0. See how they kind of reversed? I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, click the like button. Make sure you go on to the next video to see how we do it in Python, which requires a little less code because Python is a simpler version, yet stronger and dynamic in a sense. So yeah, like, subscribe, comment down below. This is Henry